right, I'm packing up for an archery mule deer hunt and in the high country, and I wanted to go through what gear I'm using, what I'm wearing, how I'm packing. I think more so how I'm packing, because I think that's where probably the true knowledge lies, is not only what I pack but how I pack it. And I do kind of have a system, no matter what bag, from what pack company, manufacturer, whatever. I always I try to stick with about the same system, kind of depending on the pockets and stuff that the pack is giving me. But this specific pack is a Stone Glacier. It's the Archer 6400. I actually haven't used this bag in the field yet, but I've used the frame. It's the Crux frame for the last 2-3 seasons. It fits me really, really well. I really like the way that Stone Glacier lays their bags out, and typically I'm using the 6900. That's probably my all-time favorite bag, but I wanted to give the 6400 a shot because I'm kind of a gear nerd. So yeah, how I'm packing it. And at the end I have a scale, and we're gonna weigh the whole thing together. And how I'm gonna have it set up with food and stuff, basically this is like a weekend warrior, like a 2-night, 2.5 day type hunt. So on the inside of the bag I have a water bladder. It's a Hydro Pack. I think it's 1.5 liters. I have 1 liter of water in it right now, so that's accurate of what I'd be like going on the trail. First thing I do is always put sleeping bag in the bottom. So this is the Archery 20-degree sleeping bag. They have a really cool sleeping bag with a sweet little pillow system that clips right in the top, and I have it clipped in the top now, and it stays there while the bag is in its. The other thing too is the stuff sack. I like using the stuff sacks that come with these bags instead of using ones that crunch them into like a football. Just seems like they stay at the bottom of the pack better. So I shove it to the bottom and sideways, so it gives everything else a nice platform to stack onto. Because in theory, you want like the bottom third to be lightweight, bulky stuff, so like puffy jackets, your sleeping bag, and then the top 2/3 right up against your back, you want it to be the heaviest weight, which typically is like either going to be meat or it's going to be probably your food, stove, things like that. So got the sleeping bag in there. The next thing, my tent. This is the Archery Rincon 2-person. This is the Dyneema version. Super light, pitches with 1 trekking pole. And I'm going to put it about like this. That side. And then some of my accessories with it. So the floor, I'm going to stuff in there with it. And then the Bora bivy. This is an ultralight bivy. I think it's 6 ounces. And basically what this is you could think of it as like really lightweight tent material, and it zips closed and encompasses your whole bag, just like a regular, like a standalone type bivy, but this is meant to be used with like a tarp or something. This is great for one, keeping bugs out during the day when you're gone, or even at night if the bugs are really bad where you're at. Keeps everything in one place, so your pad, sleeping bag, everything goes into it, keeps everything kind of nice and tidy, keeps things cleaner. And then if you have any condensation or anything like that drips down in the morning, it's just another barrier between you and your sleeping bag, or another barrier between the elements in your sleeping bag, and it's just super light, and I think it's well worth the weight to carry. If I'm using the floorless system without any kind of an insert, I'm always using that. And then my sleeping pad, this is the Nemo Tensor. This is an awesome sleeping pad. It's right at 1 pound, real plush, comfortable. It's a great pad. So I'm gonna put it on the opposite side. And that'll leave a good little spot for my food to go. So again, this is just a couple nights of dinners, another day, kind of an overday of food in here. But one of the reasons I like putting it in these little dry bags, this is a Cedar Summit, it's an 8 liter. These little dry bags, I just think anytime you're in the backcountry with food, whether you're in like grizzly country or not, just anything as another layer to keep the smell from getting out. Like our Ziploc bags work pretty good, but sometimes you need a place to put those. So I just like to put everything back in here, seal it off. It is just another little layer against smells being able to get out to rodents or whatever. So I put those right in the back, towards my back. I want that weight as close to my back as I can and not out away from it. This particular bag has the spotting scope pocket is actually on the inside of the bag. It's just instead of having another zipper on the outside, I think it just probably cuts some weight. So I've got 6-hour 80mm. It's the Oscar 8 spotter. Always like taking big glass. We're looking a long ways away typically. And then usually in the same pocket or in the same little sleeve as it is here, I'm putting my little glassing pad. Think of it as like, if I'm gonna be glassing, and I'm gonna want my spotter, I'm probably gonna want my pad. So I just put those in the same spot all the time. Now from here, I start wanting to keep all that stuff in one spot, and I just do that with my puffy gear or extra layers. So it's really hot right now. I know I'm not going to be wanting my puffy jacket on the way in, so that's a great candidate to shove down towards the bottom of the bag. And I'll put it out here as much as I can to keep the heavier stuff flush against my back. So yeah, puffy jacket, that was the Brooks down jacket from First Light. Then this is contrary to maybe what some people like to do. I really like a vest. I think it just adds more versatility to your system. This is the suppressor soft shell, and being able to throw it over a mid layer when it's just not quite, and you don't need enough to put a puffy jacket on. It's not cold enough to put a puffy jacket on, you can throw that on. Just comfortable. And then the First Light Navigator hoodie. This is kind of like an active fleece. It just works awesome in those early morning hours when it's kind of chilly and you don't feel like you need much, like you need a jacket, but you still need a hike. This pulls moisture away from your body pretty quick and dries pretty quick as well. It's just super comfortable. So all this stuff I'm just stuffing around everything else that I have put in to just keep it in place, keep it up against my back. My game bags, these are the Archery, the High Country pack, great for bone-in mule deer, bone-out elk, whatever. These pack the best in my opinion. I just, instead of doing like a separate pull-out or something with all of my kill kit stuff in it, I just put the rest of what I need inside the bag with the game bag set. So I've got a custom knife from Evans Simbita, and then just a set of latex gloves. And so that is what I consider my kill kit. I'm just gonna tuck that in any little crevice that I can find in the top. Then I have my stove. And I like to put this stove system, kind of this whole kit, inside of, this is a Kafaru pull-out. I think they call it the Deluxe. And basically it just has 2 extra pockets to be able to organize stuff. And I started doing that because I started putting anything that was related to drinks or that I was going to use with the stove in these little side pockets. So these are full of coffees, teas for the evening, coffees for the morning, any kind of drinks like that. Like I just put it all in the kit so it's not just in individual bags for the day. It's just something I started doing and it's worked pretty good. So my stove kit is the Pocket Rocket Deluxe. This thing's awesome. Has a piezo lighter built into it, and I have never had this one not work. It's a little bit different style than some others that I've seen. And it's regulated, it's cheap, it's really light, and it's just a great little system. Got a 4-ounce fuel canister, and then that all fits inside an MSR, the titanium 900 milliliter cup, or a pot actually. And then for drinks and stuff, I do bring another cup for drinks. This is a GSI. I don't remember what they call it, but it's a little plastic cup with a koozie that goes around it, and it also has measuring. So if you need to measure, you can do that. And I think it's 3 ounces. It's literally ultra light. keeps coffee warmer than the titanium does for sure, for longer. And then I do like a long spork, titanium spork, or a folding spork, or whatever I have, because I tend to lose them. And then the rest of the stuff is things that you might need real quick, and you want to think about that and keep those in the top of your pack. So if you have a rainstorm coming, you're not digging for your rain gear all the way in the bottom and yard sailing all your stuff. So one of those things is, rain gear. So this is the ultralight rain gear from First Light, just a jacket. Not expecting any storms or anything, so I'm not going to bring pants with me, but a little afternoon pop-ups can be a thing, so I put that right in the top where it's easy to get to. The next thing I probably want to be able to get to is water filtration and some kind of a water bladder, depending on what I'm using. For this trip, kind of a weekend warrior type status, just doing this is a Hydro Pack. I think they call it a water cell. It's a 4 liter. And this is good for usually when you are close to getting to camp, grab water at your last water source. So you'll want that handy. And then you'll want your filtration handy too. What I'm going to use on this trip is the Platypus Quick Draw. This is basically a squeeze filter. So what you do is you take this dirty bag, and the filter couples onto that. So you fill your dirty bag, couple your filter on, and then you can squeeze the water through in anything, into a Nalgene, I do have like another clean bladder here that's just a liter, and it'll just let you filter things. The reason I'm using this instead of a Sterapin like I usually am using, in the high country this time of year, like things are starting to dry up, so a lot of water sources are stagnant water, and it's just really easy to stir up sediment in them. So I want some kind of a pre-filter to get like some of the sand and sediment out. So I use this, and then after I'm done using it, I will flip it around and blow through the clean end, and so it's blowing water back through the dirty end. That'll let you, it kind of helps clean your filter out, and then it'll get any water out. So if it's not supposed to get cold, but if it does dip below freezing, your filter doesn't freeze. And then the rest of the stuff is things that you might need real quick, and you want to think about that and keep those in the top of your pack. So if you have a rainstorm coming, you're not digging for your rain gear all the way in the bottom and yard sailing all your stuff. So one of those things is, rain gear. So this is the ultralight rain gear from First Light, just a jacket. Not expecting any storms or anything, so I'm not going to bring pants with me, but a little afternoon pop-ups can be a thing, so I put that right in the top where it's easy to get to. The next thing I probably want to be able to get to is water filtration and some kind of a water bladder, depending on what I'm using. For this trip, kind of a weekend warrior type status, just doing this is a Hydro Pack. I think they call it a water cell. It's a 4 liter. And this is good for usually when you are close to getting to camp, grab water at your last water source. So you'll want that handy. And then you'll want your filtration handy too. What I'm going to use on this trip is the Platypus Quick Draw. This is basically a squeeze filter. So what you do is you take this dirty bag, and the filter couples onto that. So you fill your dirty bag, couple your filter on, and then you can squeeze the water through in anything, into a Nalgene, I do have like another clean bladder here that's just a liter, and it'll just let you filter things. The reason I'm using this instead of a Sterapin like I usually am using, in the high country this time of year, like things are starting to dry up, so a lot of water sources are stagnant water, and it's just really easy to stir up sediment in them. So I want some kind of a pre-filter to get like some of the sand and sediment out. So I use this, and then after I'm done using it, I will flip it around and blow through the clean end, and so it's blowing water back through the dirty end. That'll let you, it kind of helps clean your filter out, and then it'll get any water out. So if it's not supposed to get cold, but if it does dip below freezing, your filter doesn't freeze. Next thing you want handy, and I can't stress enough, is like your first aid kit. So this has my first aid. This also has patching kit for sleeping pads, clothes, somewhat repair kits. Just you know, I've got a little medicine bottle with kind of an assortment of Tylenol, ibuprofen, some Advil PMs. I do have carry a tourniquet in here. It's a cat tourniquet. I can apply it by myself if I need. Like walking around with pointing things on arrows, you should be able to stop bleeding. So everything like that's in here. But one thing I want to stress is I would recommend putting it inside of a bag or something like this that is red or somehow signifies that it's a medical kit. Because even though you might know where it is, if you have a bunch of pullouts that are all the same color, it's going to be hard for somebody else to find it for you. So my advice is put it inside something that is at least a different color, or at least has like a cross on it or something. This pack doesn't have a lot of extra pockets and stuff on the outside. A lot of times some of that stuff I'll put in the top or need to get to quickly. I'll just put it in a side pocket just because it's always going to be there. But this one's kind of lax on side pockets. So you end up using your lid as somewhat of like a junk drawer or kind of your extra stuff. So food, just, you know, an afternoon's worth of food, and then I have my dinner in my dry bag inside of the bag. One thing I'll say with food, keep it simple, keep it with things you like. You can take candy bars. It's not a big deal. You don't need like some crazy protein bar because they don't taste very good anyways. So I stick to like, you know, Quaker oatmeal packets, peanut butter packets, Snickers, little trail mix here. I really like doing cheese with the little Country Archer meat sticks. And then candy wise, what do I have in here for candy? Just like anything, Sour Patch Kids, anything that you like, bring it. The kind of the rule of thumb is like 100 calories per ounce is what you're trying to hit. I put my food inside the top. Obviously want to be able to get to it pretty quickly. The gloves, these are the First Light Cody glove, just a leather glove. I use these on the ranch kind of all over. They're pretty beat up, but I really like these. And all you need is just kind of a light set of gloves this time of year anyway. And then just me personally, I have a GoPro and a couple of things, a couple of mounts that I toss in. And then charging wise for some of these trips, kind of depending on how long the trip is going to be, is how much like charging stuff I will bring. But in this camp pocket is where I put things that usually are going to stay. I'm just going to pull it out and keep it at camp. So I have some wet wipes just to wipe my face off. And then this little Goal Zero crush light. It pops out and then you can hang it in your tent. It gives you a good light source so you're not just always using your headlamp all the time. This is more of like a floodlight, and I just like it, and it's super light. And then toothbrush, toothpaste is in there. I have some charging cables in there for everything. But my charging system is a Dark Energy Poseidon Pro charger. It's a 10,000 milliamp. There's a lot of just battery, bricks like this that you can get. And then I like to use that in conjunction with a solar panel. If I'm doing anything that's, say, like 3 days or longer, I'm gonna bring this system with the solar panel. With like everything's rechargeable nowadays. My headlamp, my phone, my inReach, my light, the light for the tent, everything is rechargeable nowadays. And instead of bringing multiple battery bricks that are heavy and you're carrying the same weight once they're dead, I like to bring a solar panel and just top it off every chance I get. Usually I'm setting up a camp and then going to glass or hunt from that camp, so I can just leave the panel set up with the charger at camp, go hunt. When I come back in the evening, I can recharge everything. So that all fits in the lid, and that's pretty much all that I keep in the lid and is on the pack. besides what is on my hip belts. So on my right side, I like the FHF gear. This is the Tech Pocket. And the reason I really like it is I put my headlamp in the inside of it. And then I end up putting camera batteries or battery charger, anything in there. But it has a little sleeve for my phone, so I can slide my phone into it and secure it. And sometimes that's really nice just because having it in your pocket all the time, especially when you're hiking, it gets kind of sweaty and can get hot. So I like keeping it in there. Then on the other side, I have a little kind of accessory pocket with some toiletry type stuff, little package of dude wipes. It's always a good thing to have with you. And then in the water bottle pocket, I really like these Yeti Yonder bottles. And I do kind of a dual system this time. I do have like a hydration pack, just has straight water in it, but I like drink mixes a lot. Helps me drink more water, so I put those in this bottle. And I like these Yonder bottles a little better than the standard Nalgene. Is you get a dual lid system, so wide mouth under there, and then you get this little chug cap, and it already comes with it. Nice handle to grab onto, and they aren't quite as big around as a regular Nalgene, so they seem to fit in these pockets quite a bit easier. On the outside of my pack, I put my tripod. I always put it on the outside. I never put it in a pocket, even if there's like a tripod pocket. It just makes sense to me. Like if you want a glass, you want to get to it pretty quickly. And so I like to always put it on the outside of the pack, usually opposite of spotting scope, or opposite of the heaviest thing, just trying to level a load. And another thing that I do is I don't run both compression straps over the tripod. It's just, you don't need that much to keep the thing on there. So I usually take the middle one and run it over and connect it to the bag and cinch that in so it's sitting tight against the frame. And then I put my tripod, slip it in these bottom legs, or if there's another strap system down here, you can strap it in like that. And then the top strap can run through and connect like that. So if I need to get to my tripod, it's one buckle, I pull it off, grab my spotting scope from the zipper on the other side, and I'm ready to sit down and glass. So we might as well just weigh this thing right now. I don't have the bow attached to it. I'm usually just carrying that anyways. $37 pounds. Then trekking poles. One of these trekking poles pitches my tent, so a little dual purpose there. These are the Archery Carbon X poles. I think this is my 4th season on these specific poles, and they're still going strong. For footwear, I'm doing the Crispy Brickstole. These are the Mountain SF boot. The whole Brickstole line of boots from Crispy is amazing. They fit my feet really well. I love all of them. And then I did get the custom Lathrop & Sons insoles that are right inside these boots. And then sock, the new early season sock from First Light, made in the USA, merino sock. It's just, they're awesome. And for pants, I got the First Light, the 308 pant. Again, versatile all season pant. Got hip vents to be able to dump heat, and just versatile pant. Then the Yuma t-shirt, dries quick, and with the some technology it's got in it, keeps the smell down for a synthetic, which is really good. And then the Kiln hoodie. I brought this for a stocking shirt. Something I get up and I'm just really sweaty. I can change into this. I mean, I can just change out of my Yuma into this. I can use it as a base layer. I can put it over the top of my base layer, and just dead quiet. It really, there's like no smell to it. The hood is comfy, keeping sun off your neck, or in the sleeping bag, keeping your head a little bit more warm. So that's what I'm taking there. And then lastly, bino harness setup. So the First Light, or sorry, the FHF Gear fob harness. Got the SIG Zulu 10, 10x42 binocular with a outdoorsman's bino stud, so I can put them on a post and put them on a tripod. Then in the front is where I keep my tags. Always like to keep my tags. I like to keep a lighter really handy for lighting the stove if you need to, or really anything. I've got chapstick lip balm, and then this little guy is the Scalpel. It's a mini Scalpel X, and I got it from Mountain Project. Then on the right side, I have my release holster. This is Ivory Holsters, makes these Kydex holsters for these Carter releases. I shoot a Carter first choice thumb release, and I don't have a tether or anything for my wrist, so being able to just pop it right in there keeps it out of my pockets and keeps me from losing it. Then rangefinder, just a rangefinder pocket with the SIG 8K rangefinder in it. This is my go-to rangefinder. It's awesome. I use it for rifle season, so I've got all my ballistic data in here for my rifles, but then I can change it over to an archery mode, which basically I can put in my velocity in my bow, and it will give me a super accurate cut chart for angles. Then on the left side of the harness, the sidekick pocket, I've got the Outdoorsman's bino post. This is a tall, but so I put my binoculars onto my tripod with, and then my Leatherman Skeletool. That's basically in place of, I kept losing pocket knives, so I just started carrying that. Gives you a little more versatility, especially with some of the archery stuff, with having a set of pliers. Then I've got the E3 pocket, which houses my InReach Messenger Plus. The Plus model for the Messenger is new this year, and it allows you to send and receive photos. So I really like that option, so I just decided to do the upgrade. And then not all the time will I take that Poseidon Pro, that bigger charger. If I'm just doing an overnight, like a scouting trip, or like during the day, I like taking a little charger with me just to keep my phone up because I film through it so much. The Poseidon Nano. 3000 milliamp, has MagSafe, clips to your phone, can charge wirelessly, or it has a USB-C cable on the bottom. Then I keep another pair of, or I just keep another rangefinder battery in there, and that is my bino harness kit. And then the last thing I just remembered I didn't really talk about, a couple things. My tripod, running the Outdoorsman's Carbon tripod. This is standard height. And then the Panhead 2.0, which I really like because you can run Arca and the Outdoorsman's plate. So shooting the Matthews Phase 4 29, have the Spot Hog Fast Eddy, the double pin with a double pointer on my sight tape. Got the QAD Ultra Rest, just went ahead and did the integrate version that clips into a dovetail on the back of the new Matthews. And arrows, I'm shooting 460 grain total. Got the Rampage from Black Eagle. DAC custom arrows helped me build these. Got a wrap. I have my fletching set in helical, and then I'm shooting the single bevel iron will broadheads, 125 grain. So 460 grain total, all in a tight spot, 5 arrow quiver. And then for my bars, I'm using cutter stabilizers. So got a front bar and then running a back bar with the Matthews bracket adjustment here. So that is my archery setup, pack setup. 37 pounds for a pack in like weekend warrior mode for a couple of days. And then I've got my bow set up. So if you have any questions, just let me know.